to fractureme.com and enter promo code GAK, that's GAK, for a 15% discount. I heard a third voice in there. I want to welcome our special guest for the week, Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
So I'm really happy to have Cindy with us. Cindy is a friend of mine and Karen's. We met through, well, you were a listener to this podcast.
I was.
Called in and stuff. Why'd you stop listening? No, I'm just kidding.
I still do listen. And I think I even kind of hooked James and Eric and you guys together last year before you did that fan meetup at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I think I suggested to them, because their podcast was so new, that they should check you guys out.
Oh, good job.
Yes. Nice of you.
Yeah, that's cool because now we're all doing these Walker Stalker cons together. Cindy, you're one of the core team members for that. So we've been to many cities together doing these awesome cons. And what I think is really interesting about you, besides the fact that you're just a really cool person, is that you live. Where do you live?
Well, I'm transitioning right now, but I've been living between Nashville and Sonoy, Georgia for the past almost a year.
Sonoy, aka Woodbury.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, and as of January 1, I'll be there full time.
Wow. Is that for work?
No.
She has a boyfriend.
I have a boyfriend there.
And he lives in Sonoy?
He
what
does.
Are the odds?
Well, I met him there.
Yeah, I've seen all these pictures of you guys at the different Walking Dead filming locations. So you guys are both super fans, right?
I am a super fan. He happens to live in the area.
Oh, really? He's not. I thought he was just as much as you.
No, he is a fan, but he jokes and says that if he didn't live there, he probably wouldn't be.
Okay. And then every time, do you go around and look, scout out the new locations every time there's a new episode?
We do sometimes, not necessarily every time, but last year we went to that like Sportsman's Grill that after the prison fell, and Rick and Carl go in and they have to kill a zombie that's in there, and then later on Michonne tracks them there.
Yeah, okay.
We went to that location and took pictures before the episode aired because he knew that was a location. And then when it airs, I like quickly tweet out my pictures, you know.
I think you had the house where Carl's eating pudding.
Yeah, the pudding house and the Claimer house. And we went to the road where Eugene shoots up the truck, and there was bullet casings all in the gravel along the road, and we got a whole bunch of bullet casings.
Wow. Okay, well, so as we're going through the episode today, if you happen to know anything in particular because of your experiences out there, it'd be cool to say anything about that. Also, I know that you've gotten like 1,000 pictures of you with all these cast members. So I just want to suggest that you use Fracture to.
Oh, I actually want to, yes.
Yeah,
I think
it would be perfect.
That would be great for some of them.
Okay, shall we get right into it?
Let's go.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 5 in 5, 4, 3, 2.
I love that, by the way. I love that.
We do too.
That's our friend. Okay, this is Deadcast Top 5. This week it's our top 5 highlights for Season 5, Episode 3, 4 Walls and a Roof. I just wanted to mention, Karen, you were at the World Series. You had a chance to watch that yesterday, so you just now saw the episode, haven't had a time to put together a Deadcast Top 5, but you're going to chime in whenever you feel like it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I was lucky enough to be at the World Series. Go Giants!
Yay! Sorry, Kansas City.
Yeah, but still love you, Kansas City. Sorry, don't mean to alienate any of our listeners. Love you all.
Okay, in general, what did you guys think of this episode?
I thought it was excellent. I thought the first 3 episodes all together have been just amazing.
Me too.
I think the season is just off to a running start.
I know. I feel like if the quality keeps up like this is definitely going to be my favorite season so far. Seriously,
Yeah.
It's intense.
It is very intense, but also really interesting and a good watch. Really good watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there have been definitely some of the most intense scenes of the series, I would say, but there's also a lot of talking and character development, and it's not just full on. I mean, that first episode was pretty much all action, but then the next two, they've been pretty well paced, I thought.
Nothing is being dragged out at this point.
No.
It is just moving along.
No, I
fast.
almost wish some of it would be a little bit. And I'll get to that. One of the things that I wish was dragged out a little bit.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I guess if I had to say, is it a little rushed? Sometimes I feel like it might be a little rushed, but I guess I get nervous. So don't burn through all your good stories. But if they can continue with this level of storytelling. Anyway, I give it 4.7 gax, and I really loved it. So let's get right into the top 5. You go first, Cindy.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you're the guest.
Okay. So number 5 for me is just the Tyrese, Sasha, Bob kind of interaction as everything kind of played out, with like Tyrese trying to talk Sasha to stay with Bob as he's dying and not go out for the revenge, and them having that interaction. And then when Bob finally passes and she's crying, that Tyrese comes in and takes the knife and it does the job for her. Just, I don't know, that all those moments that Tyrese and Sasha had regarding Bob, I guess.
Yeah,
Pretty sweet.
Yeah, totally. And
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it seems that
it's a very tender moment.
It's a very tender moment, but the thing that makes me laugh is that she lets Tyrese finish the job, and I was just thinking Tyrese did such a crappy job last time of finishing the job, i.e. Martin.
Yeah.
Like, really? You're gonna kill Bob? Really?
Well,
do you even know how to do it? Evidently not.
I think that's sort of the point, because the whole thing with Tyrese is his arc is that he is too meek. And he's sort of like the Hulk, he's most of the time meek, and then every once in a while, if you make him really mad, he zombie smash or whatever.
Yeah. I did not think he killed Martin. And I know he said on The Talking Dead that he didn't lie to Carol, that he thought he had killed him. But when I watched that episode and he told Carol she was going to go in there and finish it or something, and he told Carol, no, I did it, I thought he knew he didn't do it and he didn't want Carol to go kill him.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
The way I took it.
Yeah, or at least he didn't want her to find out that he pussed out. and so, I think his whole arc has been he fails. He's too meek. He doesn't like to kill the zombies. I mean, this goes back to the beginning of season 4. He doesn't want to kill people when it needs to be done. And so I thought that was kind of the point, that he failed with Martin. But now when it really counts and when he's doing it to protect his sister, he finally came through. So I thought that was sort of like a turning point for him, maybe, or a milestone,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, can't have been easy. I mean, he liked Bob. And boy, that actor's fantastic. He was so good. I'll miss him. Gilliard, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. And when I saw him at the convention, the only interaction I had with him was up in the green room, and I said something about, have you seen the new bad lip reading? And he said yes. And I was like, oh, it just cracks me up, the voice they give you. And he was like, yeah. And I didn't know that this was going to happen. And I was just like, oh, I need to give him a big hug. That's the only interaction I had with him.
I mean, it's got me thinking, every time we do one of these conventions and I'm sitting next to somebody, are you already dead and you just can't say anything?
Yeah, because like Lizzie in Chicago, Brighton, that was her episode that Sunday night,
And I think there's a fairly good chance Beth could be gone.
Me too.
And we interviewed her. Not from anything I know. It just feels like that.
Guesses, my guess.
Well,
who I think is dying this season. That's my guess.
I also thought that Gareth was going to stick around for a while longer. And we interviewed him too. We were like, oh, you're going to be around for a long time. Nope.
I did too. And I didn't think he'd be permanent, but I thought that was one of the things that I wish stretched out a little bit longer, because I really like him a lot. And I like him as an evil character. And I wish he was there for a few more episodes.
I probably shouldn't even go here, but I think he made an even better villain than the governor. Just the way he acted it and everything.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say in his 4 episodes, he acted those 4 episodes so perfectly, and maybe I'm forgetting all the evil stuff the governor did. I feel like he's right. Maybe it's the cannibalism, I don't know, but it's like it's just so sickening
shocking
and gross, and he did it so well that it was right up there with the governor in just 4 episodes to me.
He kind of played it like he's a psychopath too.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't really. I mean, he really, when he was talking to Bob and he's like, "Hey, look, I'm trying to explain it to you and be nice to you. Why are you crying, man?"
Yeah.
I mean,
you taste good.
He just loved the way he's so stoic, about it all, like chill about it.
Right.
But his acting choices are really good. Like just the littlest thing, like when or he was telling Bob, about how we were going to give you the choice, or no, he said the thing about the bears and how the bears eat their young. And if you kill the bear, then the cub's going to die anyway. So kill the cub and then you can have more cubs. Right. And then he goes, and that was part of the pitch. And I think as written, he could have just said that was part of the pitch, but he said it kind of wistfully, like, oh yeah, back in the good old days, that was part of the pitch, but that's all gone now. Just little choices like that. I just think he's really good, and I'm sorry that I don't know. Maybe they'll do flashbacks, but I'm sorry he's off the show.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Plus, I want him at more Walker Soccer cons because he's so cute.
Oh, he can keep doing them.
Yeah, they won't stop him from showing up.
I know. I just want him. I want him at all of them.
Okay. My number 5 is the just ultimate scene in this episode, the massacre of the termites. This is in the comic, and other really intense things like this in the comic, they have held back on some of it. Like, for example, the governor does some worse things that he didn't do in the show.
Right.
And, I don't know if I wanted to see that anyway. But this one, I wasn't sure Rick was going to actually chop these guys up, but he sure did.
And to meet little faces.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Well, that whole scene, I just loved the way it was directed. I thought the intensity of, like, the fear and what was going to happen. And I knew that Rick and the gang were going to somehow come in and save the day. But just from them leaving and then the camera just pausing on the sign of the church for what seemed like forever.
Yeah. I thought my signal was broken.
I thought my signal froze or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you could see them coming up and everything that Gareth was saying and everybody cowering to Judith giving a look and then crying out, and then ultimately when Rick just like steps out of the darkness, that was just, I love that whole scene.
But you thought Rick would come back? Because I didn't. I was like, oh, Rick's gone.
I did. I mean, I figured somehow, I didn't think they were in quite the danger that we were being led to believe, although the direction of the scene certainly gave you that feeling, and I thought they did an excellent job. But I thought either Rick and the gang didn't actually leave, and this was their plan all along, and they knew if they appeared to have left that Gareth and his group would show up, or they left and doubled back.
They just happened to see him or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure. Yeah. Well, I thought the scene was significant because it's so dark and the show just keeps getting darker and darker. And this is the second time Rick has brutally murdered someone who was a threat to the group. But now you got Michonne, Abraham, and Sasha helping. And you got... Oh,
yeah. And Sasha and Abraham really did as well. And I think I had read somewhere today where somebody thought that Maggie and Glenn were not living up to their own strengths as characters because they were kind of
they were like
cowering
aghast.
They were, and I think it was played well because I think it was more not that they were cowering, like they were afraid to pitch in to kill this
did
group,
look horrified.
But they were kind of like shocked at the brutality of Rick and Sasha and Abraham. Really, I think
Tyrese looked like, oh my God. But Tyrese, Glenn, and Maggie and Tara were all standing back with their guns, ready to help out if needed. But it made sense to have Rick because he's the leader. And he also promised Gareth that he was going to kill him with that machete. And he always keeps his promises. And Sasha was pissed because they killed Bob. You had to have Abraham in there because otherwise it would have been a pointless gesture for him to stay an extra day.
Right.
To help out.
And he's all military and
he needs to help out, because he's skilled.
And he's also protecting Eugene.
Right.
Oh, that's true. Good point. And then Michonne, because I think that her looking at her sword was sort of significant. You know, she got her sword back because we know now that she doesn't like the sword and what it represents. But it's like, well, that's the reality of it. It's a necessary evil. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But this event, I would think and kind of hope that it puts a black mark on the soul of the group. Not in a way that would crush them, but that would have a lasting impact. And did you guys think that they should have just shot them, or was it good that they hacked them up?
I don't know. I'm just glad that they killed them and didn't do something like set them free or give them a stern warning. They needed to just die. Whether they, but in this, you don't need to be wasting bullets right now.
Yeah, or making noise.
Making noise or wasting bullets. So once they were dead, you need to keep chopping. I don't know.
You'd think that they could have just sort of subdued them and brought them outside and not massacred them inside the church. But I guess Maggie was right. It wasn't really a church at that point. It's only 4 walls and a roof.
That was one of my favorite lines. I jotted down there was 4 little quotes that I thought were funny, and that was one of them that I liked.
What were the other ones?
Well, when Abraham said he wanted to extract his ass.
Yeah.
Eugene. And then when Eugene kind of poutedly, like a little boy, was like, I don't want to go. He goes, I don't want to go.
And Abraham goes, now. And he goes, okay.
Okay. I really liked just the 4 walls and a roof. And I liked when Bob said to Sasha, when she asked him about why you didn't tell me. And he said, then we'd be in the end and I want to stay in the middle. I really like the middle. And I was like, I like the middle too.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, I am bummed that Bob, we are at a point where I don't want to lose any of these people. And Bob really lent something to the show that nobody else does. And it was so cool that he kept on being that way. He still had his positive vibe. I mean, I sort of understand because I'm hoping if I'm on my deathbed that I'll be able to be like, well, I'm going to die. I might as well be positive,
Yeah.
But I'm going to miss that.
I feel like we didn't get all of Bob's story.
Yeah.
I feel like they led us last season to certain things, with his alcoholism and that he was the sole survivor of 2 groups. Like we were going to get to this at some point, and now he's dead and we didn't get to any of that. So
we'll never
that's
know.
another thing that I wish took a little bit longer, but I don't know how.
Yeah, sometimes you feel like a character is at a good end for their story.
Right.
I mean, not really Herschel, but kind of Herschel because he just had that big moment and there weren't really any dangling plot threads. But I don't like it either that it felt like there was more story to tell with Bob. But in a sense, I kind of do because then it feels more like real life. Oh, people are taken from you before it feels like
true.
It's ready. So it's sort of, I don't know. It's bitter. It's bitter.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your turn to do your number 4.
Oh, we're still at 4?
Yep.
Glenn standing up to Rick when he got between Abraham and Rick when they were about to fight, and he said that he and Maggie would go with him, and Rick was going to stop him. And he's like, "It's not your call." Yeah. And I was just like, there's nothing big about that or anything, but I was just kind of like, "Ooh, Glenn just stood up to Rick."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's come a long way.
Totally. And during that moment when Rick and Abraham were arguing, I was thinking, oh, this feels like a Romero zombie movie where the people start arguing and end up killing each other and the zombies aren't even the biggest threat. But Glenn is really what stepped in and stopped it from being a Romero zombie movie. Because what you just said, he kind of saved it. He offered to go with Abraham if he stays and helps, and that diffused the situation, which is good.
Yeah, it was just a little thing that I liked.
Yeah, me too. Okay, my number 4 is Tyrese, and I think we pretty much already talked about everything I had to say about that.
Just Tyrese in general?
Well, it was about how he's like the Hulk and how his arc about being afraid to kill even when it's necessary.
Gotcha.
Your turn.
Mine is the whole opening sequence before the credits, and that's part of what you played at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But and how that was,
you can say it.
As a comic reader, that was very satisfying. Even though they were different characters, just seeing all of that, him, slowly laughing, and I think the actors were phenomenal, both Gareth and Lawrence, because his that laugh kind of turned. And it didn't seem like a fake forced laugh. That seemed really genuine. And when he laughed and then called them idiots, all of that, him calling them idiots, and then the gum chewing guy being there, who I kind of like, Martin, and just Gareth saying, "We cooked him; it'll be fine."
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Which I still don't know, even from the comic or the TV show. I don't know.
If tainted meat makes a difference.
Yeah, what would happen, because they ended up being killed, so we don't know if that would have done anything to them or not.
I would like to have seen it. I would like to have known whether they were going to turn or not. Yeah.
So I forget who I was talking to. Somebody was joking that Eugene should have said, "Well, for the sake of science, let's keep one of these guys alive and see what happens."
See what happens.
They should have.
See what happens.
Like the gum chewing guy, they could have kept him.
But then I was sort of like, well, it's not really practical information unless they're planning on becoming cannibals at some point.
But if you could eat the zombies, there's a whole
that's true.
Food.
That's endless supply of food. Just cook them up.
And you could make a case for that not being cannibalism, because it's zombieism, really, kind of more.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think eating a zombie is any worse than eating a cow.
No.
And actually, you're doing society a favor.
Yeah.
Thinning out the herd. Yeah. I would like to think that it would have hastened all their deaths, just because then, Bob is really getting one over on them, even though they did end up dying later. I want to think that would have happened.
You know what I think is interesting is actually Gareth's group didn't end up killing anybody in Rick's group, because Bob was bitten. He was going to die.
That's true, huh? Yeah, they didn't.
So they didn't actually kill anybody.
No, I mean, they ate part of his leg.
They did, and that was all disgusting. But I just mean, as far as if you're like, totally, God, Rick was right. They should have killed them. Otherwise, this person would still be alive. Well, Bob was bitten, and it had nothing to do with Gareth and his team.
That's true, huh? The only one they killed that we knew was Sam.
The blondie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Sam.
Him and Rick had a moment.
That's true. They
locked eyes across the trough.
If he could have put his finger on his nose and then pointed at him, but they were all bound up. Okay, so my number 3, I just want to say it's really sad to see one of our favorite characters go, Gareth, who I thought was awesome. And we already talked about that some, but a few other things. I liked that he had this stoic facade that made him seem even more deranged, this deranged philosophizer. But that did break down a little bit at the end when he was like, so begging probably wouldn't help here, and then he was like, for a second, it looked like he was starting to cry. He's like, we used to help you, Ball, but then we got messed up.
We can still. By the way, did you catch that he sort of used what Rick had used on the governor? His logic. Remember when Rick said, "It doesn't have to be like this. We can make it work. We can work it out," and which is kind of what Rick said to the governor. We can all live together.
Yep, and Rick did the same thing the governor did.
Right.
Nope.
No.
But it's a different situation. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yes.
And then Gareth said, that thing I mentioned before, it was going to be a choice. You join us or feed us. But I can't see how that's true, because from what we've seen, Glenn, Maggie, and Abraham and all them came, and they, as far as we know, just got locked up. They didn't got given any choice. Or Sam. Did they give Sam a choice? I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe at some point they were going to give a choice to people, and maybe they did for a lot of people, but then maybe they automatically just felt like they were too threatening, so they just said, nope, we're not even going to give you guys a choice.
Yeah. Maybe. I liked that to get Rick's attention to come out and find Bob on the grass, they whistled. Like, that. I like that they painted an A on the church.
The scarlet letter.
Yeah.
I noticed. I commented on that as well.
And what do you think it means?
Adulterers. Just kidding. The scarlet letter.
But it was, the A was on the train car too, so it means something to them.
That I think it just means this church has now become train car A.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally awesome. Andrew J. West did something awesome that I wish the actors would do more. When he got his finger shot off, he acted like he was in a lot of pain. And sometimes when these guys are getting bitten or chopped, they don't seem that aware that it would be it would hurt a lot. And then the last thing is I'm a little confused. Gareth said about the school, we marked our way here so we could find our way back after, which to me suggested that they've been making all these marks that we're seeing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. Like that X with a circle that Morgan saw. Did Gareth make that? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll find out.
So that's it for my number 3. Your turn.
My number 2 is just Michonne's katana. You knew she had to get it back, but I didn't know how, because they're not going to go back to where that place was. They ran away from it and it blew up. But just like Daryl and his crossbow and him grabbing it before he exited the arena, you knew she was going to get it back somehow, some way. And so when it happened, I was like, ah!
Yeah, I hoped so. I mean, were you as upset as I was last week when Michonne was talking like she didn't care about, or she didn't like her sword?
I don't know if I was upset, but
I mean, it made me fear that she wouldn't get it back, and I just think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, she needs that.
Okay, so my number 2 is the group splitting up, and they're splitting up just one day after they told Abraham they would never split up again.
Yep.
But I actually kind of like when they split up because it makes for more interesting stories. I don't like it as far as fearing for their safety and stuff like that.
But don't you think that's weird that Maggie and Glenn would go with him when Beth is still out there somewhere?
Yes. And they didn't say a thing about, hey, you know what? Maybe we should stick around and look for Beth. I mean, at this point, they know she's
alive.
They were told that she was taken by the guy in the car with the cross. So, yeah, it's very strange.
Maybe Maggie doesn't like Beth.
Maybe not. Sisters. I have a sister. I love her to death, but we also fought a lot.
It is weird. It feels totally wrong to me that there's been no acknowledgement that Maggie has a sister out there.
Well, Glenn didn't really even consult Maggie when he made that decision.
But she jumped right on it.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Let's go.
I didn't notice whether there was at least some kind of a look between them or something before he decided that. And then I just noticed, or I liked that Abraham wrote on the map, "Sorry, I was an asshole.
Yes.
Come to Washington." That was really endearing.
Yeah.
And then I noticed on the map that it shows their path ending at Alexandria, which is a city near Washington, D.C. that some of you comic readers might have heard of.
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's interesting.
You're not going to say?
No, I can't. It's giving stuff away. Your turn, Cindy.
My number 1, which we've pretty much talked about, but I just wrote the whole church showdown scene, starting with the A on the side, and then the crew leaving, the hold on the church sign, Gareth's crew arriving, Gareth's finger, Rick stepping out of the darkness, just the direction of that whole thing. And I went and I looked to see who the director was, and I didn't write down his name, but I did note that he's been first unit and second unit director on a bunch of them, but this was apparently his first episode where he got to be the director.
Oh, cool.
And I thought he did a really good job.
Jeffrey January. Yeah.
I think that's what his name is.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think he did a good job building up the suspense and the creepiness and all of that and the darkness of the episode.
Totally. Yeah, this was really good.
one other thing that I can say about the church, last night I was watching the episode at McGuire's, and there was some of the crew were there watching it. And one of the guys was a scene designer or a set builder. And so many of the locations that they use in Sonoya, what's so great about that whole area is they find these locations in these buildings, and then they just use them as is. So many of them don't even need to be like set dressed. And so 2-3 years later, it still looks exactly like that. So they've used, like Sophia's church I mentioned already. That church is there. But this church, I was like, oh, I wonder where that church is. So we asked him, like, is that a church that exists somewhere, or did you guys build that? And he told us that they built it in the woods at the back of the Raleigh Studios lot, which is where the prison was on the Raleigh Studios lot. Mm-hmm. And so he said they built that. And he had told us that when we were watching last week's episode before this week started. And then when they got to the part where they massacred Gareth and his crew, he turned to us and he was like, they would never let us do that in a real church.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we couldn't even walk on the steps of the farmhouse when we were filming out there because the family wouldn't let us do it.
Yeah, and when they filmed, when Beth and Daryl filmed in Grantville, when he carried her through the cemetery, I remember there was a big hurrah in Grantville about them coming back, because that's where they filmed the Clear episode.
I want to see more zombie action in a cemetery. I was disappointed that they weren't allowed to.
Yeah, the town only permitted them to film in and around the cemetery under certain circumstances, and there was a bunch of stuff that they couldn't do that they felt would be disrespectful to the graves. So.
I wonder how, like Romero, I wonder if he just went to that cemetery and started doing it without asking. I bet he did.
Maybe. I wonder if Greg Nicotero knows.
Yeah, I bet you he does.
Should ask him.
Yeah, totally. We're going to have people from Day of the Dead at this next Walker Stalker Hunt, so maybe we can get Nicotero on a panel with them and talk about Day of the Dead.
Well, that'd be
Karen,
cool.
are you coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will.
You come to New York?
Oh, no, not New York. Sorry.
No.
I thought you were talking about San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
No, New York.
As far as the directors, when I was in the season 2 finale, which I probably
so
don't talk about it too much, but anyways, I worked mostly with the first, I think, assistant director, whoever's one step down. I barely even saw Ernest Dickerson, who was the director of that episode. And this woman, I forget her name, but she was awesome and totally in command. And I could definitely see how somebody could move up from that into the director's slot, pretty easily if they were good at it. So this guy, yeah, he did a great job.
I hope Ernest Dickerson directs some in the future.
I know, you would think so. I think he has in every season so far.
Good.
Yeah, he's good.
He is.
What else? So my last one is Bob. I'm going to miss Bob, and I love that he got to deliver that line from the comics, "You're eating tainted meat." That's really good. And I especially love that he kept his positive attitude. He said, "The one good thing about getting kicked in my face, it made me forget the pain in my leg and my sides." And Sasha's like, "We're not playing that game anymore." But it was cute. And then he said to Rick, "Nightmares end. They shouldn't end who you are. And that's just this dead man's opinion." I loved that. Yeah. It's great.
It's great.
Great. I don't know if that was his very last words, but it's really good. I really liked it. It was so kind of sad, but I loved that when Sasha said, "So what is it, the good that comes out of this bad?" That's when he died, and he didn't answer. And, the first thing you think is, well, there isn't any good that comes out of it. But if, I was like, well, what could this be a silver lining? That Maggie was just telling Bob he'd always be with the group in spirit. So him not answering that question is sort of like turning it over to them. Like, now it's up to you guys to find the good, and maybe Bob inspired them to do that.
Oh.
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah. I was a little bit bummed that we didn't get to see Bob turn into a zombie, but maybe that would have been just too wrong.
I don't want to see people turn into zombies that I love.
What about you, Karen?
Unless it's Judith. Judith can turn into a zombie.
No, shut up. All right, I'm kicking you off this call.
Jason hates zombie
She
babies.
knows. Anyway, I'm sad we're losing both Lawrence Gilliard Jr. and Andrew J. West, and I think they both really great acting from both these guys, and they're both leaving me wanting more.
Yep.
Me too. Yeah, all I have after that, after my number one, I just wrote deaths, and I wrote in capital letters, Bob and Gareth. No!
No! Totally. Yeah, and also every time a character dies, I'm just like, oh man, I hope that they can continue to do a great show. But so far, it's been really great. So I don't think they'll have any problem with that. All right, I had a bunch of other little notes. Let's see. I loved the whole scene at the church at night. It was really spooky and with zombies around, and it reminded me of Night of the Living Dead, although Rick and everybody are so good at killing zombies that they're not nearly the threat as they are in Night of the Living Dead, which made me wonder what if Rick and Glenn and Maggie and everybody was in that Night of the Living Dead house with those zombies.
Oh, wow.
How would it have been different, you know?
Yep.
I don't know if the zombies in Night of the Living Dead are more of a threat or Rick and everybody are just better at killing them. But I want to see that movie, that mashup.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Gabriel. He left his flock to die outside.
Oh, yeah. That wasn't even in any of my top 5. Now I feel terrible.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Because I like the Father Gabriel storyline.
Yeah, and I think that guy's doing a really good, even though I don't like him, I think he's doing a really good job. And well, go ahead.
His explanation about what happened really kind of confirmed exactly what you said.
You know what? I feel a little guilty because it's pretty much what happened in the comic. But I swear to God, I just think you have scratch marks outside. They even said it looks like someone was trying to get in. It said, you'll burn for this. He kept talking about his flock, which are nowhere to be seen. There's all these canned goods inside. He looks guilty as hell. I mean, it seemed pretty obvious that that's what happened from all those clues.
They must have had some time to kill outside the church because carving, you'll burn for this, takes a little while, right? I mean, that's at least a good half hour of carving. I think. I mean, I don't carve in a lot of walls, but it takes a little while. And I'm like, well, you could have used that time maybe to run away.
I know. Well, maybe they were hungry. Or maybe there were like 10 of them and they each carved one letter.
Here's what we're going to do, gang.
Let's coordinate quick before we die.
Let's all work together.
Maybe they left and came back several times, like ran off and then tried to come back again, and they still wouldn't let him in.
I'm still carving out here, Father.
Whatever it was, it was a bad scene. And do you think they should forgive Gabriel and let him be a part of their group?
Well, they've all done really, really bad things, and clearly he feels bad about that. While he didn't kill those people, he sure didn't let them into the church and save them. He was a coward, but I'm not sure that a coward is the same kind of thing. Maybe he needs to rethink when they ask him, how many humans have you killed? And he says, none. Maybe he needs to say, well, okay, you know what? I mean, not directly, but maybe indirectly I was responsible for, say, 50 to 100 people dying.
Or if you point a gun at somebody and shoot it, it's the bullet, not me. That did it.
Guns don't kill people, bullets do.
Yeah, churches don't kill people. People do.
Just 4 walls and a roof.
I wouldn't let him in my group unless he showed that he wants to be different now. He said, I'm not going to do anything like that again, and I'm really sorry I did it. Otherwise, I would just leave him there and let him fend for himself. I liked that Glenn mentioned Jim. He said Jim lasted a couple days before they left him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
nice
Jim.
callback.
And we're going to see him in New York.
Yeah, cool.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Andrew Rothenberg is going to be in New York.
Yeah, that'd be fun. There was a sign that said stupidity is also a gift of God, but one mustn't misuse it. And I didn't really understand why they focused in on that so much. I don't get it. I guess you guys
don't either. No. Sorry, crickets over here.
Yeah.
I looked at that too and I was like, huh?
What?
All right. I guess I'm stupid because I don't understand the stupid sign.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Exactly. Like, what are you trying to say? And then baby Judith sleeping on Rick while Bob talked to him, I thought was really cute. But I don't get how they set that shot up. They must have to film at nap time or something.
Or a fake baby.
It could be. It looked real, though.
I was kind of worried for her. I mean, He was sitting there,
close
and
to Bob,
I kept,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, he's going to turn in any second. He's going to turn in any second.
Grab that baby, start eating it. The end.
Did either of you meet those babies? Because they were at the con, but I didn't meet them. I know the season 4 Judas, and they were there as well. But somebody said that the season 5 Judas were there, and I never saw them.
The season 4 Judas were all running around, huh? Because they're like,
yes, because they're 2,
and they're so cute.
They are so cute. I love them.
It's so funny. I wanted to say, okay, there's something I've been thinking about. Like, it's a theme in our podcast that I say, so who do you think they should kill next? And Karen's like, nobody. And and I
Daryl.
And I feel like I've thought about it, and I'm like, I'm kind of admire, because I feel like, Karen, that you're more fully given to the show. Like, you're more emotionally wrapped up in it, which is, I feel a little bit more detached. And I'm kind of admire, and I'm a little bit jealous that I'm not so taken by it that I can't bear to see anyone leave. I do feel emotionally attached, but not like you, You're more in it, and I'm more like analytical about it.
And maybe that has to do with the fact that you kind of know what's coming.
I think it's because of the podcast, really, because I'm trying to look at it from the perspective of how different ways to analyze it.
For me, I think it's the subject matter of the show, because if it were another show where people don't regularly die, I would hate for one of my favorite characters to leave because, say, that actor decides they don't want to do the show anymore, that kind of thing. I'd be like, darn, like if any of the Friends people left, I'd be like, oh no. But on a show like this where it's about death,
you're more prepared for it.
Yeah, well, and as much as I don't want my favorite character to go, I also I want the show to be brave enough to kill off main characters. I don't want them just to bring in red shirts all the time. You have to kill off someone that you didn't expect it, or you don't want them to die. Just, like Lost did that kind of.
I was just thinking about Lost. Yeah. And
I love that about them, though.
I did too.
It's so shocking.
But when Charlie died, I was really hurt by that,
That's why I like it.
Spoilers,
it really
by the way, sorry.
Yeah, spoilers. But I like when a show can
be brave
hurt
enough
me like
to do
that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be hurt by somebody's death and not just some rando I don't know anything about.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't know. I'm a masochist.
I'll choke you next time I see you.
I would like for Rick to.
Then finally, last thing, who do we think is with Daryl?
That's a great question. It's not. I don't think it's Carol. I'm going to say right here, it's not Carol. It's not Beth.
Because who was it? It was Michonne and Gabriel. They're like, "Where's Carol?" And he's all, "Come on out," and then the show ends.
Yeah.
Right. Why? If it was Carol or if it was Beth, they would just come out with them.
Wouldn't it be awesome if it was Dale?
Come on out.
Dale comes out.
Look what I found.
It's the Morales family.
Yeah. It's the Morales. I'm afraid it's either Carol or Beth, and the other one is dead.
That's what I've heard people say, and it makes sense because if, say, they found Beth and she was dead or she died in them trying to rescue her, and Carol, say, carrying her or something,
right?
I could see Daryl acting like that instead of just being like, "Oh, Carol's right here with me," or "Come on out, Carol."
Right.
But having to kind of,
here's Carol.
Yeah, Carol with a dead person. But then I'm like, why would Carol be the one carrying the dead weight of a dead person and not Daryl? Why would Daryl be carrying her?
I mean, some people are speculating it's Morgan, and maybe Morgan's got a body.
I heard that maybe it was Morgan. Or maybe it's some other people.
Yeah, it could be. Well, I assume, especially with the pace of things, I'm pretty confident we'll find out next week. Okay, let's get into these listener responses. We'll just take turns reading them. You go first, Cindy.
John McMillan, was I the only one to yell, "By the power of Grayskull," when Michonne got her sword back?
Do you know that? Do you guys know that reference?
Yeah.
No.
I do. He-Man.
Audrey Strode writes, "Glad they took termites out quick. Could not take any more Gareth monologuing." I mean, who does he think he is, the governor?
I like Gareth monologues. Okay, Camille Mikowski says, "Hate to see Bob off the show. Must be a pretty painful death. He's not the last one standing, though." like he usually is with his groups.
Yes. And
Okay.
he's not standing because he's missing his leg.
He's sitting.
Jose Estrada says, amazing episode, but what's with all the clock references? It's a running theme throughout the series. Even in the previews for next week, it shows a ticking clock. Shed some light on this mystery. I noticed the clicking clock, too, in the preview.
I didn't notice the clocks, but I mean, in this episode, but that's interesting. Yeah. I noticed watches everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of watches.
Elizabeth Tolstoy writes, Gareth's death was right out of the comic, and Rick said he was going to kill him with it when heads were in the trough, and so he did, to bits and pieces.
Maria Stokes Gibbs says, amazing episode. Does anyone else think that Seth Gilliam is doing an amazing job portraying Father Gabriel? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yep. He's from The Wire, I think.
I think he is.
He is, yeah.
I didn't watch that, but there was a lot of people, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Grippy Bob Del Bolino. I'm sorry, Grippy Bob. And he says, Bob was finally defeated.
Laura Will Swink writes, I was left with two questions. Who is Daryl talking to in the woods? Carol, Beth, or both? And will we ever know what happens when you eat tainted meat? Evidently we will not, Laura.
I don't think we're going to find that out. Nope. Deidre Lizcana says, only one huge pet peeve. When Maggie was searching for Glenn, she was a tunnel vision badass. Nothing can stand in my way, woman on a mission. Why is it that she was so determined to find her man with such a sense of urgency, but doesn't seem at all concerned about finding Beth? I don't care if she's just a tad bit annoying. That's her baby sister. Yeah, we already kind of covered that.
Her remaining family. Gosh.
Beth. James Ventulo. This episode continues the amazing season that I think will go down as the best season of The Walking Dead so far. Scott Gimple is a mad genius.
Brian Lee writes, nightmares end, but they shouldn't end who you are. This is the theme of the last two seasons. It's amazing that after 2 seasons, we are still learning this lesson through the unlikeliest of characters. Will Father Gabriel figure this out?
I think he will.
I hope so.
Mike Belisari says, while I'm happy that Rick kept his promise, I'm kind of surprised that Gareth is gone so soon, especially after Andrew J. West's interview. I know, he made us think he was going to be around all season. Best badass Rick moment since he claimed Joe's throat.
That's funny. And I enjoyed your interview with Andrew J. West as well.
Thanks.
You're welcome. David Zapanta, this show really doesn't pull any punches and often goes for the gut, sometimes literally.
Chris Grog writes, the first part was like watching the comic. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, more than most scenes. Chris Allen says, awesome. I feel like even though Gareth is dead, we haven't seen the last of him. I think when they do some backstory of the guy from the train car, they'll show what they did to Terminus folks. Oh, I didn't think about that. We'll end up feeling sorry for Gareth in his situation. Yeah, so maybe if they get back to that guy, I don't know.
Because why did they bring all that up? Why did they bring all that up, though?
Maybe just to try and humanize them a little bit, like they did with the governor, I don't know.
Maybe. Raylan Zapula, I needed that communion wine for the entire church scene with the termites. And can we take a moment to discuss who Daryl is with? The show is driving me to drink more communion wine. I'm with her.
Yay, Raylan. We love her so much. Yep. Shanna Jensen writes, I'm guessing something has happened to Carol. I wouldn't be surprised if she sacrificed herself to save Daryl. Maybe Morgan is helping carry her back to be given a funeral. Maybe. That would be very sad.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be. And I love Carol, and I don't want her to die, but I could see her arc having come to an end.
Yeah, it really feels like
coming back and saving everybody, and her and Daryl had a nice little reunion. It could happen.
She had her hero moment. That's for sure.
She did.
Nigel Jones says they could have given Bob some alcohol. I'm sure that's what he would have wanted as his last meal.
Really? Why not? What could have hurt at that point?
I think it would have. You don't want to see an alcoholic be given alcohol, I guess. I don't know.
Even as they're dying with their leg cut off, having been bitten by a zombie?
Then they'd have to take away his chip. Just kidding.